CTA is a journey, and a lot of people only at the end of the year do they start picking up and they get it and they see a massive improvement in their marks. So that's really giving those students the opportunity to shine in the exams, which many do. I'm Nicole. I just graduated with PG dip. Oh, screwed it up. I just graduated with my CTA/PGDA from the University of Pretoria. I studied at the University of Pretoria for my undergrad degree. I went the BCom ACT stream, we call it BCom Accounting Sciences. And then straight from there to CTA at University of Pretoria as well. Honest with you, at the time, I didn't really know I knew I would have to write board exams. I knew kind of what ITC was, but I didn't know how well tax had been doing in the ITC. So I just chose Pretoria because it was far enough from home that I could move out, but close enough that I could go just home to my parents over the weekend when I missed them and needed to use the washing machine. I was really good at accounting in high school, which was not very helpful at all when I went to study accounting. My dad is in finance, and he saw what the degree did for other people in terms of opportunities. And it's very broad. I mean, you're not studying for a job, you're studying a set of skills that you can apply to anywhere in any industry, and there are really good international opportunities as well. So I thought that was a good. I've been very bad at always making choices, so it was good to choose something that gave me a really open path. So it was 70% for maths, which I was very nervous about, and then 60% for English or whatever your home language was. If I remember correctly, it was 54% per module, and then 57% overall as an overall average.
So if accounting
didn't work out. So I was thinking, financial sciences routes, and then to move from financial sciences into CA. But I was also really thinking of computer science because I really loved IT at school. Too much partying in first and second year. I stayed in Res, Erica, and we were very busy. My parents won't be happy to know this, but in first and second year I was easily going out to bars and that kind of thing twice a week, so there was lots of time for partying. Academics definitely took a little bit of a seat while I was having a lot of fun. So there was definitely lots of time for going out. I played netball at Res. I was part of, we call it now UP Acapella. It was like a serenade group. So definitely a lot of time for lots of fun. Except for third year, that's when things started to kind of slow down. I really had to focus on my academics, make sure that I got my marks up to the requirements. But I still definitely had a little bit of a social life in third year still. The very famous strip on Linwood Road. So Jukes, Charlie's. Jukes only came later, in my second year, the end of my second year. Springboks. I know all of them. So there used to also be a place called, can't remember now. It was this other bar. It was in a shopping center, and there were like statues of animals. It was really weird. And then they closed that down in first semester, but those were my go-to places. I'm not one that is regretful. I'm happy for the experience that I had because it's made me the person that I am today. But if I could go back in time and tell my younger self and give my younger self a little bit more, advice, it would be to work a little bit harder in first and second year. I did okay, but I could have done better. And throughout my life, I've always been someone who does things at the last minute, which was very unhelpful in CTA because you cannot do things the last minute.
So true.
Yeah, so I wish that, in first and second year, I had kind of worked in that really good, what's the word? Not mindset.
Consistency?
Yeah, just being more consistent. I wish that I had, started doing things more in advance and gotten into that kind of mindset. It would have helped me a lot more in CTA if I had been doing that for 3 years prior. it was really tough in the beginning, but you do get used to it. So we would have classes online. They were either live or recorded, but most of them were live, which was really nice because you could ask questions. And something that was really cool is I'm quite shy when it comes to asking questions in class, but in an online environment I could just type it and I would actually ask more questions than I usually would. And then tests we would write physically, so that was really good because it's going to prepare us for the ITC, where we're going to sit down and we're going to have to be used to writing physically like we usually do. Yeah, it was good. We have amazing lecturers that were really very attentive, always willing to help, really good at answering questions, really good at answering emails on time, so it was good. They really made it as easy as it could be, making the transition from physical classes to online. It's a lot easier to ask questions online because no one could see my face, so I didn't feel stupid when I was asking like a stupid question. So that was easier. So I would just like type a question and I would type so many questions, versus in class I would be a lot less likely to put my hand up because I was too shy or too scared for feeling dumb, which is stupid because 9 times out of 10 when I asked a question online, other people were wondering the same thing. So yeah, it was definitely better. So we use a platform called Blackboard, and they have Blackboard Collaborate, and that's kind of like, yeah, like a Zoom sort of thing or like a Microsoft Teams thing. And sometimes we could use our microphones and just put it on and ask a question. Or we could just type in the chat box and our lecturers would be monitoring the chat box while they were giving the lecture. So I would usually just type in the chat box because it gave me time to like edit my question and make sure that I sounded like I knew what I was talking about.
And I'm guessing keep yourself anonymous?
Yes, you can keep yourself anonymous, which was quite funny. A lot of people put, of course, students being students, funny names as their names on the platform. Usually Mondays, sometimes we would not have class, but majority of the time they would use Mondays to give class when we were a little bit behind or if we needed more attention on something. So it was 5 hours of class a day, Monday to Friday, sometimes Monday off, but basically Monday to Friday, 5 hours a day. So we're required to do 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. That's what they tell us to do, but that's obviously not what I did because that's very difficult, and I commend students that can actually do 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. So, I mean, yeah, it varied. I always did my lectures. So included in the 10 hours is the 5 hours of lecture time. So I always did my lectures, and then it would vary from 7 to 8 hours, maybe sometimes 6 hours or 4 hours on a bad day. If we were writing tests really soon, I would be doing about 7 to 8 hours every single day, Monday to Sunday, until we had a test. We have 2 kinds of tests. So we've got continuing evaluations and then we've got year tests. Continuing evaluations are like class tests where we write all 4 of our modules on the same day. And yeah, we would have about 4 to 5 of those in a year depending on the module. And then we would write year tests, which are longer tests with like all of the work that we had done to date, and we had 3 of those in a year per module. Some modules give quite a bit of weighting to the class test that I was talking about, others give more weighting to the year tests. But at the end of the year, your year marks, so all the assessments for the whole year count 50% of your total mark for the year, and the exam is also 50%. So with COVID, it's differed a little bit. Usually it would be over 40% for the module to be able to sit for the exam. But this year they changed it to 38%, which was really nice. And then they had an arrangement where if you had exam entrance for 3 of your modules and you didn't have for the 4th one, they would let you write that 4th one. I think because they've seen like a lot of people, CTA is a journey, and a lot of people only at the end of the year do they start picking up and they get it and they see a massive improvement in their marks. So that's really giving those students the opportunity to shine in the exams, which many do. So we do have supplementary exams, thank goodness. It is the saving grace of a lot of students. It's not out of the ordinary to write a supplementary exam in CTA. A majority of students have at least one, and you need to get between 45 to 49 as your overall mark to qualify. Or if you get a sub minimum of 40 in the exam, even if you went in with 80%, you need to write a supplementary. I opted to email my lecturers, and let's say I emailed them at 9 o'clock in the evening, they would reply the next morning, obviously, so they were really, really good at replying. I think they just have it down to an art at this point. They've been doing it so well. We have such a fantastic department with so much experience and so much passion for accounting sciences education. And I think they've just year on year improved and somehow seen what works. They know how to test us the right way. They know what content is the most important. They really drill that, you need to know your principles. You can't do past paper after past paper after past paper. We have a financial management lecturer, and he always says, you can do 99 questions, and in the test they're going to ask you the 100th question. So they really drill in, like, you need to understand the principles, understand the basics, and I think that really makes a big difference as to our results. It's a really grueling year. The test standard is difficult, but it prepares us so that when we do get to the ITC, we're relatively comfortable with the standard of testing.